Hey Buzzworthy Chit Chat fans, this video is dedicated to my Real Housewives of Atlanta followers, and we have to get into the chaos of last night's episode, Season 17, Episode 14, Highland Games and Explosive Claims. You know how we do it. Let's talk about the people factor of this week's episode, and for me, it is the Shamea Morton versus Porsha Williams of it all. That was the focus of an otherwise filter episode for me. You know, in my opinion, Shamea needs to step away from this show. It's just my opinion that this woman is chasing fame and perhaps the ability to have her own income separate from that of her husband. But in the end, is the drama and trauma of this show really going to be worth the pain and sacrifices that she may be making from a personal and or professional level? Now, real talk, if you watched the episode, it is apparent that Shamea is still mourning the loss of her relationship with Porsha. She is mourning the letdown of someone she perceived to be her friend, and she is looking for something on that show that these ladies will never be able to give her. When Shamea decided to challenge Porsha about not allowing Pilar to come to her home and play with her daughter, revisit the claims of Porsha not wanting her on the show, and to drop that bomb about Porsha's mother having an interest, and I'm trying to keep it clean, y'all. So when she decided to drop that bomb about Porsha's mother having an interest in her father, Shamea's father, that is, it was clear that Shamea had been sitting on a hill of frustration, anger, disappointment, whatever other emotion you want to drop in there. And I think experiencing the loss of that relationship that she perceived, I'm going to say perceived, she had with Porsha. Now, real talk, I was multitasking during that episode last night because, again, it felt like a filler episode. The fake niceties of it all kind of had me twitching a little bit. So I was multitasking. But when when Shamea dropped that bomb about Porsha's mother, my head snapped up with that one. I mean, I was like, what? You know the saying. I just think that hurt people, right? And this woman, Shamea, is hurt. And she was ready to hurt Porsha, right? I think she'd been sitting on this since, things went down and accusations were hurled back at her about her and her mother. And there they are in Scotland. She's watching Porsha be friendly towards these other ladies that she barely knows. And probably, after probably decades of this so-called relationship or friendship she had with Porsha, she's getting cordial business partner and bitter friend, right? That relationship that she used to have with her. And, we don't know what that was like off camera, as they alluded to in the flashback. And I remember that particular episode where Shamea said to Porsha that she really wished they could have that relationship that they had off camera, on camera. And, Shamea had said more than once that Porsha told her that they could not have that relationship, right? She'd have to get paid more money to do that, which is an interesting thing for your so-called friend to say. And while I did not watch last season, real talk, I watched all the seasons that Shamea was on there as friend of, right? And you might recall, I thought Shamea, now you guys correct me down below in the comments if I'm wrong, but I thought Shamea came on the show as friend of Candy. And I can remember seeing episodes and seeing her on Candy's show, her YouTube channel, defending Porsha. And I can remember thinking, wow, were you Candy's friend or are you Porsha's friend? She used to defend Porsha to the nth degree. So I can see that she is clearly disappointed, frustrated that her coming on the show did not work out the way she needed it to. And unfortunately for Shamea, in my opinion, in watching last night's episode, that confrontation did not land the way I think she wanted it to or hoped it to. And so that we had what we had, that interaction. Now, as I mentioned before, real talk, I did not watch last season. And I know many of you lifelong fans out there have very strong opinions about how Shamea might have moved last season and that some of the issues she is having are self-inflicted. And that may be true. But, again, I recall my personal observations of their interactions once Shamea became a full-time housewife. And despite the flashbacks of Porsha claiming to wanting her on the show, they had that flashback montage of her saying how she wanted Shamea on the show to Andy. I do not believe she truly wanted her on that show as a full-time housewife. And listen, it's okay if Porsha did not want her on the show because she wanted this to be her thing. I know it may not be popular or a popular way to feel, as one might think you should always champion your best friend and want them to do well if you're doing well. There's a saying where people say, if I'm eating, you're eating. But some people do not like it when friends or family infringe on their so-called territory. And I think we even caught a glimpse of this in Porsha with Dennis. I think it was back when Dennis was helping Drew, or, I don't know what kind of help he was actually giving her, but let's say he said he was helping Drew. That was one of his new business activities. And so she did not like Dennis even having a part on that show like that, and particularly if it had nothing to do with her. And so that, coupled with the accusations of the daycare acquisition, I think, Porsha had some degree of mistrust of Shamea now stepping into her territory. I personally, as a viewer, would have preferred to see these two be friends on the show. I actually think that would have been more entertaining to watch. Sometimes you need the lighter moments of a show. I think Porsha could have still been the OG at the time, but also still, it would have been nice to see that friendship on camera, as Shamea hinted, but that's not what we got. So if you all are still listening to or watching this video, I am going to bring it to a close with the takeaway that I need Shamea to leave the show, honestly. I felt stressed just watching it last night. I suspect the paycheck is nice and she's enjoying her paycheck, but none of these ladies are her friends or friendly towards her, except for maybe Kelly. I don't know. But in my opinion, none of these ladies are her friend. She is a woman on an island to herself with a big target attracting bad energy. She clearly does not appear to need this show to move in the circles she is moving in Atlanta. And so I think she needs to cash in on her chips, take the earnings she made and invest them into a business or some other project that might allow her to further achieve some modicum of independence or success that I think she is seeking that is separate from her husband. I think she has a right to her dreams of wanting to be an actress or wanting to succeed in the entertainment industry. But I don't think this is the path. This is stressful, just listening to it and watching it. And, I just wish she would maybe move on and try something else, do something different. But Real Housewives fans, tell me, what do you think?